you go. Fashionable suit.
There you go.
How's that look?
Fantastic.
Beautiful.
Look at that.
A suit that
You can't beat a suit that's made. I mean,
But
look.
look at the stuff. But the thing is, you know, I wasn't involved. Paul did this, but I overheard what was happening, and you know, it was very specific about the length of the jacket and the more tapered trousers, and you know, it's such a more contemporary style.
With the blue and the black.
Yeah, but it looks
Like
like.
it.
Jet
Yeah.
pockets,
Yeah. Yeah, that's straight.
quite short from the trouser. You went for the jean style.
Yeah, it did, yeah.
Yeah, no, it looks great on you. How was it received out there?
Yeah, people loved it. I mean, when I got the BAFTA, I tell you, you know,
Yeah.
John Ridley did. He said best suit whistle of the night. Best
What, on
suit
the
of
red
the night.
carpet? Just
Yeah, no. John Ridley, he's the director of. He wrote 12 Years a Slave.
Oh, okay.
He also directed Jimi Hendrix movie, which we done, and that's why I knew him. A really nice guy. Yeah, so
That's
good.
You know, while we're standing here, because this is visually nice, let's talk about this suit. Well, can we come over here?
There's a bottle of beer in the back.
Well, it's fine. You know,
Well,
it's men's style fashion. We're about real men.
you're a real man. I'll tell you one thing. It didn't get too creased up during the course of the evening.
It's the light. It's the Italian cloth. It's really works.
Yeah, no.
It's the same company that's made this.
Yeah.
And it's
No, it's good.
it doesn't increase as much.
Because you obviously get there. It's a long day. You know, you get picked up at 2:45
Yeah.
in the car. You get there. They don't start until. What time does it start? 8:15.
What are you doing in that time?
Well, first of all, you get there and they meet you up, and then you do all the red carpet stuff.
Yeah.
You know, all the different TV stations and what the live broadcasts that they do for all the different
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
And there's reception and everything in there, and, you know, snacks, drinks.
Yeah.
And eventually, you'll go in and go for all the. As it gets a bit closer, that's when your heart flutters, because you don't know, do you? So that's the thing.
But you don't know.
No,
Do you have any indication at all?
No, you know, people might say, yeah, oh God, your favourite, what? But you don't know, because, you know, you can bet a horse be a favourite and he loses, so you just don't know.
But at what point, even at the point, until then...
Well, until the bloke says, or,
name, that's it.
or the girl says your name,
Yeah.
you don't know.
Yeah.
That's, you know, you don't know, so you're all sort of...
So then you know you've got to do your acceptance speech.
Well, yeah, yeah.
Which
And,
was-
you,
it was
and
brilliant.
it's quite nerve-wracking because you don't, you know, when you first get there, they tell you that you've got to fight 40. If you win, you know, if you're like, oh, they said that you're lucky 20% will win, the rest of you won't, sort of thing.
This is like a pre
Yeah, before they go live.
Yeah, yeah,
But, and it's sort of do a press road. What's going to happen? This music's going to play. You know, the winner is whoever it is. Music start. You got to get to the stage as quick as you can. No hugging and kissing everybody, sort of on the way out. But get on the stage. As soon as you take the award, you go to the. As soon as you walk to the microphone, you've got 40 seconds. After the 40 seconds, the music starts and you have to get off. So, you know, like, so even that was like, well, I've got to do that. You know, it's like, you know, when someone says so, it's a simple thing, but when you go, what have I got to do? Well, where have I got to go? Who have I got? You know what I mean? Because you just,
Well, you see a long time or a
and then
short
you can
time.
everybody, how long is it you got? What? Yeah, everyone does that, you know what I mean? You know, but yeah, so, and then you just don't know. It's like a bloke and you walk out there, and it's sort of quite surreal in a way, you know, and I hadn't prepared a speech intentionally, because I was no good at school revising stuff and reading it all out. All I knew that, you know, you've got 40 seconds, you've got the names you want to mention, you know, the sort of, you know, the people that you've been working with, and, you know, perhaps what you want to say, but not in a speech form. And I find that works better, because it sort of comes more from how you're feeling at the time, and that works better for me.
Yeah.
You know, rather than trying to remember and then forget a line.
Do you have nothing written down at all?
No, I didn't have it written down, no.
What do you say at that moment?
I could blank.
Yeah, but you don't want to be, you know, it's that stupid thing, you don't want to be too presumptuous that you think you're going to win it, you know what I mean? Yeah. What you do is make sure you've got names from, you know, make sure you remember certain people, but you don't get time to, you know, you can't go into the whole list of just names and that, because it's not, you know, so it's one of those moments you just don't know, it's like a wow, you know, and as you get up there you can feel your heart getting, all of a sudden it just sort of goes a little bit, and fun enough, when you look out there, it's the way it's saying at the batters, once you look out, it's not so daunting, you're not looking at everybody, you sort of know where the people are, and you know you're live to everywhere in the world, but yeah, don't think of that at all at the time, you know. And it's just, and it's when you walk off and you go, think that's, you know what I mean? It's like literally like, oh, you know, and it's quite funny because you walk off and there's a lady sort of standing there at that bottle, so as you walk off she gives you some champagne, you know, and it's like, wow, God. And then you go there again and they give you one more, there's the whole of champagne, and yeah, another one, you know what I mean? Then you have to photos taken with everyone, and then you more photos, and then you go and do a photo shoot, which is quite, there's massive rows and rows of photographers, you know, and there's like 3 big Oscar statues, and you have to stand in each one, you know, and do, lift over here, lift it up, put it down, you know, you sort of like act like a bit of a, you know, yeah, you know, and over here, look up there, you know, so they all want their, you know, they're all very nice as well, so then you go to the next middle one with the cameras, you know, and you do it again, and this, that, and the other, then you go to the third one, and then you do that again, and then after that, you go through to another room where all the press are, and they're all sitting there like that on their laptops, just dead quiet in there, you know, and it's from then someone reads a number, it's going to give them a number, yeah, and they ask you questions, you know, you have a few questions to answer, then you go off, do a bit of a tour, have another drink, then eventually they take you all the way, wheel you around, and they bring you back in to the auditorium where someone's been, their body double type thing, not body doubles, but seat fillers when you do it, sit in your seat. So then they move out your seats and you move back into them, and you can do all that again for everyone else. So it's quite a thing, you know. But you have something in your hand then, so and the guys of your people are next to you, you know. So say, well done. Well, you know, you whatever. They did, yeah. I can't remember when I won the BAFTA, one of the guys, Steve Bodecker from America, he did all his lots. Really good guy, very good at his job. And he came out to me, he went, well done you bastard. Just all laughing, so it's good, you know, it's nice to have, that's nice to have people like that at the end of it, so that was quite, you know, but yeah.
And you've got that Oscar then for the rest of the night?
Yeah, until you get your short cash and sell it, but I mean, but no, you can't do that. It's got a number, right? It's all, you know, it's all numbered and everything, you know, so you get a little list of things that you can do and can't do, you know, and things. So, yeah, it's very good, really, yeah, you know. And then parties. Then you go to the parties, and that's it.
And how did the A-listers receive you? Like, you know.
Well, to be honest, the Oscar is that, but it's both ceremonies for that day. Yeah, it's like you're all together. Everyone's just really. Everyone's like they're all normal because they're all normal. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're in the same situation. They're there. They're all, you know, everyone's friendly with each other. You know what I mean? It is. It's that for, you know, that one day everyone, you're there for that reason. You know, you're the nominee. You're going down the right place. You're there for that. They've all got to that point where we got in their films for that year, and they're all very, you know, they're all good. You know, obviously the ones at the party after that won are happier, but there you go. But we were lucky, you know. Gravity we had a table and we were all around it, and so we had it's just looked really cool. There's loads of these Oscars on the table, so everyone was pretty, you know, there were people coming up, and you know, Sandra, unfortunately she didn't win, but she was, you know, she was great. You know, I mean, she was, you know, she was in right in front of you when you're right in the front of the thing. She was really good, you know, really pleased for everybody. So that was really cool. You know what I mean? And Alfonso, it was, you know, it was a happy shit because, well, you know.
He won 7.
Yeah, won 7. Yeah, so and the studio were delighted. Everyone's delighted, you know.
Expected? You
never know, because there's some really good films there. I mean, when you get to that point, they're all really good, aren't they? You know, I mean, it could have gone any way. You know, I mean, I think visual effects wise, I think that's probably, you know, but that was probably, you know, that because it was brilliant and it had taken such a lot of time and no one knew how it was made. It was seamless, you know. So that's you know, and I felt Alfonso for direct, you know, he's sort of visionary with how he made it and what he wanted to do, and you know, and it took a long time. It took a lot of time, you know, and he was like, you know, perfectionist. Any little bit that wasn't, you see, you know, he was really, you know. So I'm glad he got it because he put a lot of effort into it, you know. And David Heyman, you know, when they producing, he was, I mean, they were on it a long time. It's a big job for them, you know, a lot of work.
And who makes the final decision of the sound? I mean, you won the Oscar.
No,
yeah, how does
they
it
make
work?
it. You mean, you get through the first sort of ballot round is by the sort of sound chapter people. So you're voted by your, you know, which is good to get into final, but there's loads of all the films from around the world, everything, you know, it's all in there. So it's quite a long process thing, and then after that, everyone, the whole of the Academy, I know, 6,000, 7,000, something like that, votes going. So, I mean, and that's the reason, that percentage-wise could go anywhere. I mean, you've got 5 people up there. You know, it's you know how it swings in government polls and things like that, you don't know. So you don't really know because you don't know everyone's taste either, do you? Because a lot of the films were like, you know, different styles and everything as well. So, you know, you don't know. But luckily, it came my way, so we were all right.
Well, one of the critics said that it was on for sort of cinema, the future of cinema, where it's heading. Would you agree with that?
Well, it was. I mean, I think the film was. I mean, you always want to make a film that you were in. You were in the film. And that's, you know, and so we took the, I mean, from visually, from, you know, once Sandra takes part and she does it, you know, you're her, and you go through into her helmet, right, and you're with her. From that point onwards, you are on that journey with her completely. You know, you're aware breath, her whole thing and everything, and the sound was done by some of the same thing, you know, that you were in it, and you became right in the middle of the film, and then you followed the whole, with her. So the heart, when she was going, you know, she's feeling really stressed or this, you were doing it with her, you know. I mean, I remember when I first, not when I first saw her, I saw it hundreds of times, but when I first saw it with a big audience was at the Venice Film Festival.
Yep.
It was the premiere, and it was the gala film, the opening film of the Venice Film Festival. So it was like, you know, you're seeing it there, and people were actually leaning forward in their seats and things, you know what I mean, and holding on. You could actually see them, that you could really see that they were in it and they were feeling it, you know. And that was like, that's the first time you go, yeah, it's, you know, it's done what everyone wanted it to do, you know. And then after, you could just tell how people were talking about it that night. It got so well received there. That was sort of launched it from that moment, really, you know. But it was, I mean, the sound as well. When we did sound, we did a Dolby Atmos mix on it. I don't even heard about a special mix we did on it. There's a new system. Basically, it's in a room like this. You have speakers all the way around like you do, and at the front. You have extra speakers, but, you know, depending on the side of the room, we mixed it at something like, I think it was finished at Warner's, 53.3 channels. So basically it was object based, so that anywhere, like say one of those speakers those shirts is a speaker, right? They're all going down there. The sound you can stop anywhere within that, anywhere on the wall, where the speakers are. So you take a sound, stop it there. Not only that, you take it there, back, and you then take it overhead because it has speakers married with those in the ceiling. So for space, it was the ideal. You know, I remember when talking to Dolby about it when they were invented. I said, like, well, this film is made for this. This has got Dolby Atmos written all over it because it's in space because you're there. You know what I mean? So that everything goes around you. So with her, you know, the voices, everything in that. I know you've seen it, but everything in the film moves all the time. You know, the film is constantly moving in sound. You know, everything is moving. You're moving with her, and that system and that the whole. And we sort of designed that sound with that in mind, and also you know bass sub speakers in the rears, which give you bass management around, so you get this great quality of sound all the way around you and over you. And it's amazing. So and that was perfect. So wherever you know George moved, she moved. You know, you like an axis all the way around, and you all following them with, and you're stuck in the middle of it. So everything that's going around you continuously. So that's you were in the film, and the film was like a brand new filming technique, the way they did it. So it was sort of like a big leap forward, but it did take about 4 years. So.
Oh my, go back, because obviously space doesn't have sound.
Oh, really?
So what are you working on? Like,
well, the concept really was in the first meeting I met Alfonso, was it December 2010. That's how long ago it was, you know. Right. And at that point, the film was in previous stage, pre-visualization, but not even Sandra or George hadn't been shot. Yeah, they had pre-visualized like 45 minutes of the film, right? So up to the point she's in the fetal position when she first, you know, she gets in there, she's like that. So basically what and Alfonso is going to show it to the studio as, you know, this is how it's going to be, like a concept for it, before they did the actual filming. And so he wanted it sound design and mix on it and everything like that. So right from that, one of the lucky things we had, right, is that the idea of, in that date it came up with this idea of touch, vibration, right? Because there's no atmosphere, no air outside, but inside the suit you have your own air, you have your own, so we were transmitting through her. So that's another way how we followed the story through her. So when she touches it, you hear things. When she doesn't, if she's doing like that, you don't. So when when she's drilling all those things, you hear it, but you hear it through this like vibration, and we'll record everything through the contact mics. Contact mics you stick on, and you record through vibration, and not through air. So we were trying to do the science of it. We talked, we got hold of it, and we even got hold of NASA. We did. We got hold of NASA to figure out what sort of tools were they. I know I can see them. But they're like the car factories using. They're very similar type of things. They're so talky, they're so accurate. And hospital stuff is very similar, very high tech stuff. So just down the road here in General Motors, one of my mates, Lawrence Davies, I said, can we get into your factory? Can we get into the car plant and just record for a day and record all your gear? Anyway, mate says, it helps having mates, doesn't it? So we got in there, and we went in there for about 12 hours and we recorded everything they had, every tool. We went into their workshops, but we've recorded on robots as well, which you're not supposed to. They don't like stopping, but they stopped and these cages, and we stuck all these mics on there, done all this stuff. So we tried in everything, all air vents, and we recorded everything, tons and tons of material all the time. And then we also went out and did weird stuff through, I talked about this before, through guitars, through water. I put in a guitar, like a guitar, put it in water, put and contact mics on it, because a guitar works through vibration. The strings go through, and it's So we thought then when they're pulling things, we'd rub the things down the guitar, but record it either through the water, through hydrophones, and we had contact mics as well on them, all around the outside of the tubs, through it, inside, outside, everywhere. So we were doing all this stuff, recording, trying to do vibrations, so that we would have, so everything was made for the film. Everything we shot was for the film.
Man, that's amazing. I mean, that is so detailed.
Yeah, no, there was.
So
I got out of 4 NASA guys as well. A friend, Hugo of mine, he was working for us, and he knows someone who knows an astronaut, or he knows someone in NASA. But anyway, if we're afraid of a friend again, and it's we got hold of these guys, and they agreed to do it for my company. I said, I can't see what it is yet, but waivers. What I want is some real space chat. I don't want to get, because a lot of time what you get actors in or crowd artists in to do some extra, not for the main actors, but for other people to do some chat. And then you've got to try and write that stuff. And I thought, well, no, we're going to all this length. Because in the film we have all the space chat as if it's around. She's here picking things up all the time, and radio signals. Don't like contact there. Sometimes. Anyway, so what we did, I said, well, look, you're great. Let's get. So we've got 3 guys and a girl. And one of them was an instructor who taught all these people in NASA how to talk to the astronauts, how to talk to people and bring them in, and do it proper. And they talked for about 4 hours for us on Skype. I put them in a hotel room in Florida. We Skyped it through to my place, Sound 24 at Pinewood Studios. And at the same time we were doing a temp mix that day, and it was going on with 4 hours of them doing these scenarios. We didn't tell them the film at the time. We said, well, this is a scenario. What would happen if this? What sort of things, And what we got was it's perfect, because it was the real stuff, but so authentic,
Yeah, that's exactly.
And right at the end of the film, it's a real cool line they did. The film ends, Warner Brothers logo's gone, and they go 3, 2, 1, park, and it ends on that. The film ends on that, and that's what they say. It was just something they had said, We found it out of all this stuff and put it in the end. I love it. If you wait, probably no one ever waits till that last second, but it's quite cool. It's like a buttons it together right at the end, so that's good.
What about the morale of all your team? Because she was in the rig for about 10 hours, I read, or, like...
Yeah, well, I was on the, you're not on the floor. I wasn't, we're sort of post, so that was shooting, but, I think it was quite grueling, they had to be in there, and it wasn't easy, and I know that, visual effects, they had to build all these special sort of robotic robots. These cameras would zoom in really fast, when she's spinning, and the cameras were spinning, they built these light boxes, and everything. And David Hem tells a story, one day they were doing the tests for her, like the camera would come and zoom in, and you go right in on her, right close, boom. They did a test, they put a dummy there. Apparently, the camera shot through, boom, just knocked her head off, it's like... So that's before Sandra got in there, but just as well, really. Else he wouldn't be here, would he?
How do you know... when you hear the final sound, you think, right, that's going to be part of, the silver screen. How do you know?
What? How do you know it's done? You've done it right?
Yes.
I suppose you never. You know, but you don't know how it's ever going to be perceived by anybody else apart from everyone around you. I mean, I suppose it's like you guys, when you're making suits or you're measuring up, you make it, and if it works, you go, yeah, it works. You know, like, if I suppose you write a good article, or you get something in, you go, oh, cracky.
Yeah.
You sort of know yourself, don't you? Because I think one of the hardest people to please of anything you do is yourself, and the people that are working with you. You know what I mean? And you know, the concept we did, quite a while ago. We did 2 tech mixes, but funny thing, when we finished it, we meant to do Dolby Atmos mix, right? And when we did that, that was done 6 months after we finished the final mix. But even then, we went back in. You know, films never end until they're out. I remember sitting there. We'd done the Atmos mix, and we all sat back. We played it back in Warner Bros. 10 in Los Angeles, Theatre 10. Fantastic sounding room, beautiful sounding room. So we're sitting there. We'd done it all. We finished, you know, all the extra movements and everything we were going to do. I can remember us all sitting down there. There was Steve Price, composer. Skip lives in one mixer. Niv works with me, another mixer. Adiri and Chris Benstead on the music. Alfonso and a couple of other guys from Dolby and that were in there. We just played it back, the final, you know, with a sort of the best picture we'd seen up to that point. And I remember us all sitting there. Then I'll tell you, it was that moment when we looked at it, and I can remember Niv looking at me, and we looked at me. This is good, you know what I mean? It's like it really felt good, you know. And it was like, because it'd been a little bit of a break, you know, because normally when we first finished it, we'd worked through, and we worked about 2 in the morning just to finish it before on our last day nearly, you know. So that's how films are made. And normally, it doesn't matter how long you have to make a film, you'll always lose the last minute and the last buck, probably. That's the way it goes, you know. So the break in between, and then the prep on this, and then actually just sit back that day and watch it, I think then we knew, oh, this is good, you know. It plays well, everything's working how we wanted it to, and yeah, I thought, yeah, that's, you know, everyone can see that now. And then when we started showing it, doing Q&As and people like that, they were just blown away, because we're taking it, like you said earlier, we tried something and we tried it a bit further. But it's like anything, I think probably in fashion it's probably similar as well. I think if you have an idea and you're going to take it a bit further, as long as you're confident with it and you see it the right way through, and you don't sort of like feather it at the edges, I think people buy into that, because I think they perceive this is it. This is wow, that's it. Yeah, and I think that's like in anything. It must be like in fashion as well, though. You know what I mean? If you go, well, something a bit zany, but you don't quite do it, or you don't put yourself 100% wearing it, even, it's going to fail, isn't it? Someone's going to see through it. And I think that's the same with doing anything. We're trying something different. You just got to have your courage of the convictions and then go for it full on, you know, and see it all right through to the end.
The challenges? What were some of the challenges for editing for you?
Well, the challenges were for the whole team, you know. I mean, it was creating that sound and believing her through her, and creating her tension. I mean, sound. I think we, you know, like as a film, the sound was a sound, but it was supposed to be an emotion, not just a sound. You know, you were supposed to feel the film here, and you know, I know you'll be hearing it, but the idea of it is that you'll be feeling it. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I like you know, you feel with your heart, not just your ears. You know what I mean? And I think that is that's what it wanted to be, because you wanted to be with her, and to be with her is not just about hearing it, because then it becomes detached. If it all becomes together, I think that's the biggest challenge. Also with all the CGI, because a lot of stuff wasn't real. It's because you have to make sure everything's so pinpoint accurate, and because you're making everything up, like inside, you know, when the buttons and they're blowing up, all that, everything, all the creaking, you know, when it heats up, we make all those sounds because there's nothing in it at all. There's no sound at all, you know. So in the film, so but you want to sell that you are in, the, you know, that for that film to work, for you to feel everybody's job, the visual effects, you know, the lighting, everything had to be just right, so that you felt you're with it, I think, and I think that's the biggest challenge, to sell that whole concept of her being there and the emotional content you have of her, you know. And luckily she was brilliant at it. So that's, I mean, she sold it that side, but everything around you, how she was reacting to everything and how she felt, you know, that was.
So who mentors her with that? Is it you? Is it the team?
No, I mean, Alfonso and Herman. She's a Roman. She came in. What will you do? You do a lot. You do it on the floor, but obviously, then after that, she didn't. Because when she's acting this film, she couldn't see all this stuff going on. She couldn't see the whole, because, I mean, what was next really, you know, sort of bits of it, but it's grey blocks, this, that, and so she didn't know, but So she wanted to do a lot of it herself again, live it. That way she could live it, because she would be living it. So she put a lot of effort into it, you know, I mean, physically and emotionally, you know, her story of her child, you know, the whole thing. And she worked really hard at it, you know, to get that. And she was, and it was her film, wasn't it? She's in it for like, 75% of it is just her alone. And that's a big ask for anyone to carry a film. It doesn't matter what we really do, if the pivotal person in the middle of it is not doing it, what we do, and we, you know, if she wasn't as good as she was, none of us would have had any of these either, you know, because the film would, you know, it wouldn't be good enough, you know what I mean? Because if the human content is so important in a film, isn't it? That is what, because we are humans, you have to buy into that, so we have to thank her for this. Sandra, thanks a lot.
Oh, that's
and Alfonso, because, you know, the vision of that,
talk about him, I mean,
yeah, he's,
can't beat the Italians.
he's Mexican.
Oh. I thought he was Italian.
No, he lives in Italy.
Okay.
He's got a house in Pisa, I think.
I love it.
You better edit that part, yeah.
It's priceless.
Keep going. Sorry, Glenn.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to quick
Do you want me to-
Do you want to?
What is it?
No, this is really.
Is this all right?
Mate, it's
I-
so interesting. It's so
You know,
interesting.
I know, and like, yeah, this is brilliant. Like,
It's so interesting. I wanted to stop because I mean that whole thing about the sound though,
Yeah.
and being able to stop the sound in specific
Yeah, any way you like, yeah.
is so
Actually,
specific.
yeah, and it's going to come out. More and more films will be better. You're doing
So
it. It'll be really cool.
can we?
Mate,
Let's
really
put
good,
you.
mate, so
What I'm
interesting.
loving is your movement.
Oh yeah.
So
that's-
let's place you.
Stop that, do I?
Let's place you. Where can we place Glenn now?